Gary Lassin has a motto.
In Stooge we trust.
Get out. Let him alone. Oh, man. Oh!
Gary loves the Three Stooges, which is why he's the president of the Three Stooges fan club and creator, curator, and chief stooge of the Stoogeum, which is both museum and fan club headquarters in Ambler, PA.
Anyone who's the slightest bit of a Stooge fan should come out here because we've got E Pluribus Stooge, which means lots of Stooges stuff.
Gary isn't on a half-wits holiday to borrow a title from one of the Three Stooges' 190 short films. Rather, he's on a mission to share with the Stooge-going public his passion and 100,000-plus artifacts about the Three Stooges, Larry, Moe, and Curly, and their replacement Stooges, Shemp, Joe, and Curly Joe.
This is the mail-order gift catalog business. And this Stooge business is a lot more fun because I can do that to you.
Why don't you be quiet?
Yeah, well, I can do that.
Oh, yes. Oh, no.
I know the block because I'm old enough to
I
know
should have
the
known not
block.
to try that on you.
Visitors who explore the Stoogeum's treasure trove can savor Three Stooges history, from their antic slapstick to their nonsensical dialogue.
Nyuk, nyuk,
Yeah,
nyuk.
just the little woo-woos and yuck-yucks.
What's the matter? You want to kill me?
Oh, an intelligent imbecile. Yeah, they had a lot of catchphrases that I find in my everyday life. You know, somebody cuts me out in line. It's Sabatucci. You know, I'm a victim of circumstance. Every day, every day.
There are those who look at the Stooges as inconsequential, silly, not to be taken seriously, and yet they have a great story to tell.
Well, they are inconsequential. They are silly, but that's what we love about them.
Gary not only fell in love with the Stooges, he fell in love and married Robin Feinberg, the grandniece of Larry Fine, the Philly-born Stooge with the wild and frizzy hair.
And so now you're part of the family of Larry Fine. Oh,
Certainly. I don't do impersonations, and you just heard why.
Turns out Gary's a bigger fan of the Stooges than his wife.
She was always afraid of the Stooges as a little girl. They hit each other, they poked each other, and...
Ow! Ow, my nose!
It was very disconcerting to her, and when Uncle Larry would come to visit, you know, she'd get very upset. They actually had to tell her it was Uncle Max coming.
Robin's grandfather, Moe Feinberg, Larry's brother, embraced Gary as the son he never had, who also shared his love for the comic threesome.
He really got me interested in them by showing me, you know, a letter from Larry, a comic book, a record, some of the, you know, few collectibles that he had. It really piqued my interest. And I collected the stuff in this building as if I was the Stooges' mother.
Which is why Gary created the mother of all Stooge museums.
Basically toys and games and posters and books and autographs and contracts and news clippings and everything else that there is.
Right.
Anything and everything Stooge.
These lifelike figures of the sappy sidekicks greet visitors as they enter the main gallery.
and now you had these made up for the Stoogeum.
Yes, these were specifically made for the Stoogeum from a black and white photograph from the film Idle Rumors. They're actually on a 1-inch pedestal, so they were actually about an inch shorter than this, but at 5'4", the actresses who were 5'5" and 5'6" towered over them with their heels on, and that's one thing that visitors are really struck by, how short they were. I like Curly because he's got the scar on his cheek, which of course makes it very realistic. Curly had a scar from a childhood injury. I call this the Wall of Faces, and we've got the various 6 different Stooges with various types of roles during their careers.
Every fan has a favorite Stooge, it seems. You like Curly? You got a whole section on the portly prankster.
If there's a poll, Curly gets more votes than all the others combined.
This is called Stoogeology 101. It's one of the interactive features here at the Stoogeum. You just give Curly the old Moe eye poke, and up comes the menu. And you can find out about Moe Howard's biography, Larry Fine, Curly, Shemp, Joe Besser, and Joe Dorita, and the guy who really started it all, Ted Healy.
I got a pinball machine and you know, things like that to try to draw people in and just get them engaged, especially the youngsters.
Hey, watch out!
It's got lots of everything.
Lots of everything.
And I've tried to organize it in some type of logical way. I keep, here's the records and here are the comic books, things like that. Here's the live appearance materials. Here's the materials from these feature films.
Gary's also got a wall honoring the Stooges' supporting actors and actresses.
So the fans really, really have a soft spot for these supporting players. Even if they were only in 1 or 2 films, their roles were very memorable. And we spend a lot of time trying to track them down and trying to bring them to our conventions and whatever.
Visitors can also catch a Stooges short film in the comfort of the museum's 85-seat theater.
When we have our conventions and meetings, we do special shows in here and programs.
Since 1984, Gary's Stoogeum and his admiration for the ensemble have grown.
So when fans wrote to them, they didn't write back, "Thanks for your letter, love Mo." They wrote back 2- and 3-page handwritten letters.
Really?
When they went on the road for months at a time, if they were in a city for a week, it's absolutely 100% certain that one day they went to a children's hospital and visited the kids in the wards there. And no matter where they went, they took time out to do charity stuff.
The Stoogeum serves as a tribute to the Slap Happy Trio and a special place for their fans.
I wanted the real Stooges to be proud of it, but as for fans, I wanted it to be a place that a fan would want to have his ashes scattered over or be buried here, and hopefully I accomplished that.
There are fans who might consider the Stoogeum as the final jesting place, but above all, it's one man's way of keeping the legacy and laughter of this great comic threesome very much alive. For PBS 39 News Tonight, I'm Grover Silcox reporting.